AFTV, we are outside the Emirates. Me and DT, we just been getting interviewed by the world's press because the news has broken. Unai Emery has been sacked as Arsenal manager. Freddie Ljungberg has been made the interim manager. He will be in charge of the next game against Norwich. It was inevitable. We were here last night, DT. It was another appalling performance with strange decisions from Unai Emery, which we've been seeing all season. And it's not a surprise, is it?
No, it ain't. And, you know, we was even joking about in some of the interviews and saying it's like he wanted to be sacked with some of his decisions. I know everyone keeps pinpointing the Torreira substitution, but I go right before that, which was the Martinelli substitution. You take off the one guy that's creating things and trying to, you know, get us back into a game.
Taking a goal scorer off the pitch.
Yeah, and then you bring Ozil on, which that's not a problem with that, someone that can open up, but you put him on the wing. So you got to wonder why some of us are actually sitting there scratching our heads and going, is he trying to get sacked?
There was a fan that I interviewed last night, and I just keep remembering what he said. He goes, this game was Unai Emery's game. The game where he could get a bit of confidence back into himself and the team, and he failed, didn't he?
Well, he did, because I looked at the lineup, and first and foremost, I thought, wow, what a strong lineup. It was like he'd set that lineup so that he was, you know, keeping himself within a job. He knew he had to go all out. And even though he put such a strong lineup out, we failed. And it was the same old problems, the same weaknesses, and the same boring performance.
What's gone wrong? Remember last year, we were at Fulham, away.
Yeah.
We smashed them up. Fans were singing, we got our Arsenal back. Everybody was infused. 20-odd game run. Got to the final of the Europa League. Chance of getting to the top four. Where did it all go wrong, DT?
For me, it went wrong against Crystal Palace at home. That was the first time when people started questioning what he was doing, because it was such an important game. And we looked at the lineup, and I still remember coming here to the Emirates, seeing the lineup and thinking, what is that? Is he taking this game like it's not important? It's like he was already focusing on the Europa.
Jenkinson, El Neni had in that team that day,
It was
Mustafi.
dreadful. And Crystal Palace must have been sitting there as a team, looking at that lineup and going, got a touch here today, boys. Let's get out there and go and get the 3 points. And that, for me, was the first signal that made you go, what are you doing? We haven't got a strong enough squad to be rotating on that level. You know, we're not Manchester City and Liverpool and whatnot. And it wouldn't have mattered if it was one, maybe change here or there. But he went and made so many changes in key areas, you know, and it just beggars belief. And then it was a spiraling effect for the rest of the season, the remainder of the season. You know, I think that maybe not beating Spurs was a turning point away with a last-minute penalty miss. And then for me, like I've told a lot of people as well, the first turning point where I really, really started to say, is he the right man, was in Baku against Chelsea. The most abject, awful performance I've ever witnessed in years. And it was a final. I don't want all this talk about players didn't look up for it, or it's a final. I don't care what competition it is, it's a final. If you grow up and your aspirations as a kid are to be a professional footballer, you dream of finals. None of those players looked ready. They didn't look motivated, and it stems from the manager.
Who do we go for now? Who next? I mean, obviously Freddie's got it temporarily till the end of the season.
Yeah.
It could be Freddie if he does, well, not till the end of the season, but he's got it interim now.
Yeah.
It could be Freddie. You know, it could be another Solskjaer where he goes on a great run and gets it permanently. Yeah, I'm sure he'll want it permanently.
Yeah.
You've got Pochettino, Allegri, Nuno Espirito Santo all being linked. I mean, who would you take?
Well, what I will say on Freddie is that don't make that same mistake as Manchester United. If he has to go in for a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is, and he gets results and it's going well, don't make that rash decision before the season finishes and say, you know, let him have the job. Don't do the same thing that Manchester United did.
We've got TalkSport muscling in on our interview.
Go live on TalkSport, Robbie.
Oh, live on TalkSport.
Jim White and Perry Groves are listening to your words of wisdom. Robbie, who's next? Poch, Nuno. A lot of people are saying Allegri, some people are saying Ancelotti.
For me, Allegri. I'd like to see Allegri. I think he could sort the defence out. I think he's that manager of that stature who can deal with the big names here. And I especially with them getting Mourinho across the road, I think Allegri would be the perfect fit. But me and DT have been arguing. He wants to see Pochettino because he wants to wind the Spurs fans up. I'm not into winding them up. I want to get back to winning.
Brilliant. There we go.
It's like we get interviewed whilst doing an interview. But you heard what I said, Allegri. But you like Poch.
What I was saying, what I was saying about the Freddie thing. Don't make that mistake. If he goes on a good run, don't do the same thing that they did with Solskjaer, where they just appoint him and then it all goes tits up. Take your time, because this is a very, very critical point in the history of Arsenal, to be honest. It's a big part. Because when you think of Wenger, how many years he was here, you know, Emery, he's gone within 18 months, so this one is critical. Pochettino.
Now, the Pochettino thing, and you heard me just chatting to the Moose there, for me, it's not just about winding up Tottenham fans.
I think he could do something with this team.
What did he win across the road, though?
I know, but look, Spurs have always never won anything for years, you know, but what he did do to them was take them up a level. And then when he wanted backing, he never got it. You know, he got them to the Champions League final buying nobody in the summer. Nobody. He then got to the final and said, right, I've now proved what I can do. Give me something to take it to that next level. Levy didn't. If you speak to any Spurs fan, you've got Spurs mates, I've got Spurs mates, and they will say, there's no problem between Pochettino, the players, and the fans. It's him and Levy. That's where the issue is. And you can sit there and we can, you know, I know that some people will say will Stan Kroenke back him or this, that and the other. You've got to go on the last window. Did they back the manager?
They did.
They did. So you've got to now look at it and say, they'll back him. You can only go by what's recently happened. In the summer, we said, show us you care. Show us what your intention is. The board went out and made the players available to Unai Emery. He hasn't succeeded. We've not got a bad squad. We've got some quality players in there, but they just need invigorating, relifting and energising and all these kind of things. And that's what I want. And I think that Pochettino, he could do that. And the board would back him as well.